The book of white people whipping our ass. That's what I'm gonna call this one. You ever seen these shows and these movies, these media? Like there's a show called The Book of Negro. I knew it was gonna be some slave-minded shit, right? But I said, no, I'm gonna check it out. I'm not gonna be pessimistic. I could only stand about 15 minutes of it. It was about, the one I saw was where the black people are in Nova Scotia and people are dying from cholera and whatnot, and they starving to death, and they look like they wearing the same slave clothes that LeVar Burton was wearing in Roots. You know what I call a lot of those movies? Because they only focus on, oh, black people suffered. I call those white people whipping our ass movies. Because that's what they are. I want to see a Nat Turner movie. And whether the pro-black people like it or not, I want to see more Django Unchained. Man, Django Unchained, I don't care if it was made by Quentin Tarantino. That was therapy for me. When I saw Django shooting the overseers, man, I felt like I had died and gone to heaven. And I don't even hate white folks. But it was good to finally see a black man standing up for himself in adverse situations. Now, speaking of Django, a lot of people pointed out that you don't have Django killing I think his name was Calvin, killing the young plantation owner. And yeah, that's a good point. But then again, I liked that happening because you needed to get the Doc character out the way. And what better way to get the Doc character out the way than him actually shooting that other guy? Because to me, that was a critique of white guys and white guy pride. And that's something I've seen and I've noticed too, how white guys would rather die than lose. The people talk about brothers can't take an L. White guys really can't take an L. Okay? Just like Charlton Heston at the end of Planet of the Apes. I think it was the second one. What was he? Nah, what did he say? Something. Well, he just decides to hit the A-bomb and blow up the entire planet rather than lose the planet to the apes. To the apes. Anyway, so I'm sick of these white people whipping our ass movies. So that's why I'm calling this rant The Book of White People Whipping Our Ass. Because those are the type of slave movies they love to see, right? Precious got a lot of awards. It was a good movie, and it was basically a black version of A Girl Named Sooner. But you had black people, they were suffering. Emmy, Oscar, whatever it is. Denzel the Training Day. You had black people and Hispanic people who ended up being black just because they're that white. So you had non-white people, they were suffering. Oscar, yay! After Earth. Yeah, there were black people suffering in After Earth just because they crashed and they were battling a monster. After Earth gets nothing but mainstream criticism. I thought it was an excellent movie. I thought it was perfect. The pacing was perfect. Especially for Will Smith's, it might have been the first sci-fi movie he wrote himself. Don't hold me to that. But I thought that it was an excellent, excellent father-son relationship. The only father-son relationship I've seen done that well with black guys in a sci-fi setting was Cisco and Jake on Star Trek Deep Space Nine. So I like that. I liked After Earth. But nah, people want to criticize that. You want to know why people criticize that? Because white people wasn't kicking our ass in it. That's why. It wasn't white people whipping our ass. What was that movie? I think it was called 23. Was it 23, 46, 37, whatever the hell Jackie Robinson's number is? Hey, call me a bad black person. I don't care. Now that was a good movie. Acting in it was phenomenal. And I am quite a bit of a sucker for anything in the civil rights era. Even if it doesn't show us getting our ass beat. Because I've always wanted to learn more about the civil rights era. Because they don't talk about it in school. At least they didn't when I was in school. Anyway, the movie was basically about how he got his ass beat by white people all the time. I mean, they really dragged out the harassment scenes and stuff like that, right? Now, I know you got to show that because I'm sure some of that happened. But see, that's going to get front stage. Where's the Black Panther movie? A movie that doesn't go, it's controversial. These guys were bad. But were they? And would you think that you were... No, I want to see a Black Panther movie where the Black Panther is actually protagonist. And I want to see it made by like Spike Lee or... what's the guy's name is doing Empire? Lee Daniels or Tyler Perry. By somebody black. By somebody black. And they not be accused of being racist because they're a black person making a black movie about black people where white people are not whipping our ass. I want to see that. What was another one? All these kind of like slavey movies, like The Help. The Help, right? More about the black suffering, really, than just showing the whole avenue of it, okay? That's why I like Lee Daniels, the butler. Now, see, Lee Daniels in that one, he had to give you some black suffering. He had to give you some white people whipping our ass in the beginning. It's like he probably had to do that to get the movie made. Because from what I've read, that whole rape thing didn't actually happen. So it's because it's not 100% based on a person, it's inspired by the life of a person, which means they can take some artistic liberties, which means they can make sure they fit in white people whipping our ass. Because I saw it, right? You know, I grew up in a town that was so racist that they had Klan. I was actually standing outside when I was a little kid next to my cousin who had a gun and he gave me a knife, and we were waiting for the Ku Klux Klan to march through our neighborhood. That's how racist they didn't come. They didn't come through our neighborhood though, because they probably would have been buried in the woods or something. They wasn't stupid. They stayed. I think they stayed downtown where it was populated. But still, that place was pretty racist. Okay. So don't tell me, oh, he doesn't know racism. No, I've seen some racist shit. Only thing I haven't seen is a lynching or a cross burning. But everything up, I haven't seen a rape. I haven't seen anybody or anything set on fire or anyone raped. Okay? And I haven't seen anybody shot due to race. Well, most of the shootings I've had to avoid has been by black people who call themselves niggas. Now, that's technically another type of racism. But anyway, I've seen everything up to that. I mean, nigga! Up my face and shit. People throwing shit at me because I'm black. So, don't tell me I know racism. People call me coon and dandy and shit. Boy! Yeah, boy! I've seen that shit. Don't have to see it now, though. But I felt that type of racial sting. Okay? And I still call out these Hollywood people on their BS. And what's their BS? White people whipping our ass movies. So, back to The Butler. In the beginning, Lee Daniels had to give you that. Because I was watching that and I said, now I know I've seen my share of sadistic white people. But I really don't think that during that particular time period in Virginia, that you could get away with just shooting a nigga in the head like that. And nobody even says anything. Like his mother doesn't even say anything. Because you got to keep in mind, I know that racist slave owners hated their slaves, but that's also property. That slave is like livestock. Nobody kills an animal that they can get a lot of use from unless that animal is just too difficult to manage or it's sick or something. So it wouldn't make sense for him to just walk up and shoot the slave in the head because the slave And I don't even think they were in slavery at that point. They were just sharecropping. It wouldn't make sense for him to just shoot that guy in the head like that. And I was right. That never happened. But they gotta give you that white people whipping our ass. So you know what? I think if I ever want to make a science fiction movie, I'm going to have the first scene. Let's say if they're like Jedis, because I like Star Wars. We'll just pretend I'm using Jedis, right? If it was Jedis, it was black eyes. Black eyes. That's fine. We'll call them black eyes. If it was black eyes, and they used the black force, right? In the first scene, I'd have to have the nigga getting his hand chopped off by a white person. Just so you can show white people whipping our ass. And he'll never get a chance to chop that white boy's hand off. Oh, no. This is what happens. He gets the chance to chop the white boy's hand off, right? But he forgives him. Oh, because he's Christian. Now, I'm a Christian, and I have forgiven people that have tried to hurt me, or whatever. But you know what usually happens when they don't show a lot of times, when you forgive a mofo that's trying to hurt you? You forgive them, and then they might try to turn around and hurt you again. And then you still got to put the smack down. Last time I got physically attacked, the only reason why I didn't have to put the smack down on my attacker is because I made sure my attacker was exhausted before I let up. I didn't hurt the attacker. The attacker wore themselves out. Because that was how severe the skill gap was. Trying to punch and kick me and grab me and hit nothing but air. And once the attacker was exhausted and embarrassed, then I could turn the other cheek and be kind and whatnot. But nah, if you wanna have something like that that's black, you gotta have white people whipping our ass. Or you gotta have somebody gay. Or both. Both would probably be better. Probably be better if you have, let's see, if I have my black eyes, bump, jump, up, because you gotta have some, rhythm and swing to it if it's black people, right? So I have my black eyes with the black force. One of them gonna have to be gay. You're gonna have to be gay to appease the gay movement in Hollywood, right? So one of them will have to be gay, and he's gonna have to, and then the other one's gonna have to be getting his butt whipped by the white black eyes, right? Then whatever the evil people, the evil people could be white as long as they whip the crap out of one of the black eyes in the beginning, and then when he redeems himself, he has to forgive, right? And the evil person is just going to have to let him go just off the strength of being forgiven. As if evil people actually react that way when they are forgiven. No, the only time evil people let you off the hook is when they know they are thoroughly beaten, and if they try to retaliate against you, they couldn't. When they know that they are outmatched, then they stop. And then they can change. So, I'm tired of these white people whipping our ass movies. I don't want to see any more of these white people whipping our ass movies. Okay? That is one thing I do like about Empire. So far, I haven't watched much of it, but I haven't seen white people whipping our ass. But to compensate for that, they got somebody gay in there. So, gotta emasculate those black guys one way or the other. And this is not a dig at gay blacks. Or gay people even. This is a dig at the part of the American psyche that just loves to see niggas in pain. That's why Roots was so popular when it came out. It wasn't some type of acknowledgement of the guilt of our society at enslaving Africans and not owning up to it. It was because black people are still angry, and we got to say, yeah, that's right, Look at Roots, sucker. And white people got to go, oh my God, look at those niggers. Oh my gosh. Oh, like watching a car wreck. So, let me see. Quentin Tarantino, apparently Quentin Tarantino is the only person that's got enough balls to make a movie with black people, well, especially a brother. They might let a black chick do it, but especially a straight black brother shoots his oppressors. Oh, and one thing I did like about Django is that he also shot the black oppressor too. That was beautiful. I found that to be beautiful too. It's like, oh, not only does he kill the overseers, he kills the house Negro. Okay? Well, I shouldn't even say the house Negro. Some of the house Negroes in real life, for some of you people you didn't know, some of those house Negroes used to poison the master. Yes, read about it. They used to poison the slave master. They used to help the field slaves, sneak them food, etc., etc. Tell the field slave what's going on up in the house. Help with the rebellions. A lot of people don't know, because I didn't know until I read about it and asked some history teachers. There was a lot of slave masters that, mysteriously died in their sleep. I wonder why. When you're enslaving people, maybe they might want to poison you. You had that, and you had black people that owned slaves too. That would be an interesting movie. What if there's a black slave master who owns a plantation, has a kid by a field slave? The field slave knows that that's his kid out there in that hut. You know, what do they call those things? It'll come to me. It's not quite called a shack. It was called something else. It'll come to me when I finish this video, I guarantee it. His son's living out in that shack, but he got a wife, and he don't want his wife to know that he knocked up that field slave. So he has to hide that from his wife. And his wife, she whips the baby mama field slave, and she black. That would be all. Talk about psychology and all like that. You got these black slave owners acting as bad as white slave owners. You know what? They might let that go, because that'll be black on black violence, and America loves that too. They love to see black people hurting each other. So that might pass. So, and then I'll be mad, even though I suggested the idea, because then I'll say I'm tired of black people whipping each other ass movies too. But that's what they like. They like a black ass. That's why Nicki Minaj is so popular, because she got a big black ass. They like a black ass, and Kim Kardashian has a big black ass. They like a big black ass, and they love to see it whooped. White people whipping our ass movies. The book of white people whipping our ass. That's what you ought to call any Hollywood script about black culture that crosses over.